Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome to another beautiful Bob Ross Friday, or just Friday. I'm thinking about maybe changing the name. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like Bob Ross Friday? Maybe it should be Awakened Creators Oracle Friday. Not sure. I want it to not get stale, so maybe we will eventually change the name of these. But for now, we still are chilling with our friend Bob Ross. And we will continue to call it Bob Ross Friday, at least for today. Okay, well, today is a beautiful day. I don't know about you, but October was rough. It was a weird month. And this past new moon, holy moly, for myself in particular, that was a powerful one. I had a lot to admit to myself, but it was good. It was good. Growth is not necessarily easy, but it's always good. It's always going to help you move into the next iteration of your best self. And I think today's question is going to probably tap into that a little bit. Today's question comes from one of our fellow Awakened creators who is asking about not being able to finish projects, right? I know that this happens to all of us, where we start something so passionate and so enthusiastic. We have the vision in our mind, but then that passion wanes, or we start to second guess what we started. Maybe we walk away from it and we don't come back to it for a while. And then when we do, the love just isn't there anymore. And this question was good because the individual who asked it was already starting to speculate. Is it fear? Is it resistance? Knowing that there may be something underlying that inclination to abandon a project. So that's what we're going to talk to you all about today. That's what we're going to ask Bob about. That's what we're going to get into the Awakened Creators Oracle deck about. And I also felt called to bring out Gabby's deck, The Universe Has Your Back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get shuffling. Ooh. And I actually, just as a side note, I ordered some blank playing cards or flash cards, with harder cardstock. So I'm going to transfer over the beta deck to that so that I can actually shuffle it effectively on air. I think it will be easier for everybody, including myself. It's impossible to shuffle index cards. They're so flimsy. And I promise you, when the real Awakened Creators Oracle deck comes out, it will be very good, high quality cardstock, hopefully sustainably sourced. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this project too, to get you excited, is that the way that I vision this deck is a multi-artist collaboration, meaning traditionally, you've seen Oracle decks where it's one writer and one artist. The writer writes the guidebook and all the meanings behind the cards, and the artist interprets those meanings through their artwork. But I don't feel like I've ever seen it where there's a different artist who created each card's illustration or painting. And that's really what I want to do. I think that's has the potential to be really powerful and really beautiful, not to mention if you can imagine 55 artists coming together in passion for this project and just contributing their love to it. I feel like we'll be able to tap into all of the just multifacetedness of the creative journey. So if you're interested in being a part of that, I have maybe 2 or 3 folks that I have in mind that I've talked to about this. But if that really excites you, if you feel like, wow, I would love to be a part of that project. I would love to contribute a piece of artwork for that deck. Send me a DM, send me a message. If you're watching this on YouTube, go over to my Instagram at awaken.creators and send me a private message and let me know you're interested in the Oracle deck and collaborating on that, because I'm kind of just gathering support right now. And eventually, you know, maybe next year, late next year, or 2023, actually starting on the project big time. All right, so let's get back to the task at hand. Thank you, Bob. Slow things down. Whew. Sorry, I'm so excited about that project that I gotta slow it down. And we're going to tap into our higher selves. We are going to tap into our spirit team. We are going to tap into all of the awakened creators who have gone and passed on and are here guiding all of our creative souls towards our journeys, including Mr. Bob Ross, who we love, who's our friend. And Bob, we're asking you today to help us understand why we don't finish projects. What is it about that idea of completing our creation that scares us? How can we move through that energy? Okay, he's already popping out. A Queen of Pentacles. What else? A Fool card. What else, Bob? That's too many. Just one more, Mr. Bob. You know, I'm just remembering now, I have a keychain that I got in high school that says I Heart Bob on it. At the time, I was really into skateboarding, and there was a skateboarder that I liked, and his name was Bob. I forget his last name, but I always thought it was him, and now I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, Bob. It has multiple meanings carried through time and space. It's beautiful. All right, and we have a 10 of Cups. So already off the bat with this Queen of Diamonds, you know, the Pentacles suit, if there was one phrase to encapsulate the Pentacles suit, it's slow and steady. You know, it's not the blazing passion of fire. It's not the swift cutting truth of a sword. It's not the emotional gooiness of a cup. It's a pentacle. It's earth. It's maybe some would say the boring part of things, but not, obviously, because all of life is birthed through earth. And that stability and that ability to persevere and control, those are beautiful aspects of earth energy. It's steady. It acknowledges the cyclical nature of things. And I feel like the Queen of Diamonds, or the Queen of Pentacles in particular, is somebody who can truly embody the fertility and potentiality of earth element. And as it relates to completing a project, which is what the question sent in for this week is, it says talent is pursued interest. Anything you're willing to practice, you can do. So much is coming in already. Okay, first and foremost, it says pursued interest. Bob isn't talking about a flash in the pan. Bob isn't talking about, you know, a quick turnaround. He says pursued interest. To pursue something, that means you're going after it on a regular basis. You're pursuing it, okay? And he also mentions this idea of practice. This is something that has been coming through for me so strong on my own journey, is this peace I'm making with the idea of practice, right? Especially as coming at it from the angle of being a writer, I don't feel like I ever got encouraged to practice. You know, people say, well, you want to be a writer, just write. But then you sit down to do that and you think, okay, spit out a novel right now. And that's really hard to do. There's a lot of doubt that can come swirling in, resistance swirling in, worry about, is it good enough swirling in. There's no talk of, well, why don't you go do some warm-ups first, like an athlete would before the big game. Go, do some stretches, do some drills, run some drills, do a little bit of practice, and then show up to the big game, and then show up to the novel, and then show up to the project. Can you get a sense already for how different that approach is versus just jump in and do it and produce well with no preparation? Right? And you might say, well, I've been doing this for a while. Haven't I already been practicing? Yes and no. There's a difference between, the experience that you've accumulated. You've learned skills. You've learned how to work with certain types of mediums, like what works well, certain paints together or whatever. But to practice prior to actually putting your paint on the canvas or putting your eye behind the camera, I think is really going to give you the opportunity to screw up and to not know what you're doing, to stumble a little bit. If you've ever exercised or you've ever, participated in a sport, you know that when you first start going on that treadmill or when you first start on that jog, it's kind of hard. Like your joints are rusty and you're kind of like, your muscles aren't primed. But then after a little while, you start flowing, right? And that's what we're trying to do as artists. We're trying to warm ourselves up just a little bit, right? Write a story that has nothing to do with your novel, just kind of, letting it out, letting yourself stretch, not judging anything that you're writing. It's just practice. Or on the canvas, instead of, that beautiful, $50 or more canvas that you just bought and worrying you're going to screw it up, let's have a pad over here where you just kind of play around with some colors, think about, how you were feeling or sketch out some ideas. And then when you feel ready, go to the big canvas instead of putting your energy directly to get to the finished product already. Okay? I feel like Bob's reminding you that if you're willing to practice, if you're willing to put in the practice, then you can do it, right? But if you go directly for, okay, sit down and produce a finished product that's selling worthy, that's, love worthy, you might get a little freaked out and then you'll think I screwed it up or it's not good enough and walk away before you get a chance to finish it. So practice. I think that is a good reminder, Bob. And then the next card we have is really talking about sort of the same idea, but really coming at it from a beginner's mind with this Joker card, aka the Fool, right? Because I'm using a deck of playing cards. This is really the only major arcana that lands in a playing card deck. And I think that that's fitting for what we're talking about. And the card in particular says that this is a happy place. And he talks about the little squirrels again, living and playing. But I really want to focus on the fact that he says this is a happy place. Because your creations should be making you happy. They should be making you happy. When you're creating, before you're creating, the ideas should be making you happy. When you're creating, the process should be making you happy. After you're done creating, the satisfaction should be making you happy. Okay? If it's not making you happy at any point in that process, it is not to be interpreted as a sign that, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not meant for this. Oh, I should be happy and I'm not. No. It simply means that you're coming at it from the wrong perspective and you need to shift. Okay? So that's, I guess, your little assignment. I'll side note here with some homework. Think about when you go to create beginning of the process, like before you start? Is it during the process or after the process? Where do you feel that dissatisfaction with what you're doing? If it's before you start the process, then I think what we just talked about with the practice and the warm up and the doing something that's not attached to the big project itself that you're going for, that could help you. If it's during the process that you lose sight of the happiness, then I think that this card about this is a happy place, the Fool card, should be your guide, because this card is all about beginner's mind. Let me show you. I just got a new journal. I am writing my novel by hand in here, and look what I wrote on the first page. To remind myself of this energy precisely. Give 0 fucks. This is a happy place, right? When we are unhappy during the process of creating, it's because we're not present. We're either thinking about the future or we're dwelling on the times that we've screwed it up in the past. That's not welcome here. This is about presence. This glowing light in the background is reminding me of the solar plexus. Solar plexus is where that presence, that powerful presence is coming from. Your ability to feel like you can handle it is coming from solar plexus. So if it's during the process that you are getting, finding yourself unhappy, then go back to focusing on your solar plexus. I have journal prompts for all of the chakras in my bio. Do one of the ones for solar plexus and see if you can kind of work out what it is that you are so concerned about that's preventing you from being present. If it's after the project that makes you unhappy, meaning you went ahead and you did it, you got through it, but at the end, you're dissatisfied with what you've produced. Let's look at this card. It's the 10 of Cups. It says you really can learn to be creative as you paint. It's like anything else. It just takes a little practice. Okay, Bob's saying it again. He's beating the horse here. He's saying practice, practice, practice. But what I really think he's getting at with this 10 of Cups is like, look, you get to the end of your project and you look at it and you're full of disappointment. Take a step back for just a moment and shift, because you are learning to be creative. You are learning to become your greatest creative self. That takes time. Every painting you do is another step on the process. Every story you write is another step on the journey. Every song you sing or play is another step on the journey. If you get to the end of your project and you hate what you have produced, it is because you are not being compassionate towards yourself regarding the journey. Because you really can learn this as you go. And that's how it should be. It's how it should be. It just takes a little practice. The 10 of Cups is a culmination. The 10s are a culmination of what? Cups, emotional, energy, love, creativity, all of that springing forth from the heart chakra. It's the culmination of that. How do you get to a 10 of Cups? You continue to produce cups. You continue to produce art. You continue to produce works, and you don't judge them for not being the pinnacle of your career. Of course it's not. You ain't dead yet. Of course it's not the pinnacle of your career. It's a step on your journey, and each one is building to the next. So see it as a snapshot of where you are in this moment. Take heart in that. Wow, right now, this is where I am. And then the next time that you sit down to create, it'll be something totally different. And that's beautiful, okay? It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. So I'm going to start shuffling the Awakened Creators Oracle right now. So I just think this is beautiful how this worked out, because we've sort of got a beginning, middle, and end, just like I was saying with your homework assignment. And with that first one, you know, with the Queen of Pentacles, if you're nervous to even start, you know, you got to just make peace with the fact that this stuff takes time, right? Queen of Pentacles, she's not mad that it takes time for an oak tree to grow. She embraces all phases of the growth cycle. It's all beautiful and worthy to her. You have to start your creative process from that perspective. That, okay, here I am, I'm just starting out, or I'm just a few years into taking this seriously, you know, and this is what it is. This is what I can produce right now, and it's good enough. This is it. We got a resistance card, no surprise there, and the card is rigidity. This is perfect. It says rigid linear thinking, over planning, expecting A to Z instead of allowing a winding road, too much structure, not enough play. This is a happy place. The center, the doing of it, right? We had a beginning, during, and after. The during is supposed to be a happy place. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. And certainly this rigid linear thinking, A to Z, it doesn't work in terms of the process of creation, right? If you're talking about, you know, your business and what you need to do to get that art then into the hands of a publisher, or into the hands of a gallery, or into the hands of those who would buy it, sure, there's probably steps you need to take. You need to write a query letter, you need to investigate publishers, you need to send it out, right? There's a step process. But the actual act of creating itself is not linear. It is an opportunity for you to truly drop your walls, truly drop your expectations of self, and allow creation energy to flow through you without judgment, before, during, and after. Okay? If you can start learning how to do that, and I'll give you the one of the key gateways here is presence, is being present, letting go of the past, stop focusing on the future, be here now with what you're doing, then you will open the doorways for joy. So, again, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. And I'll say too, whoops, I just dropped the card. I'll say too that I always hated when I've been in groups of creatives or at conferences or whatever, and they say it's hard. You know, they all will cling to this idea that blank is hard, writing is hard. Oh, well, because just it's hard. I mean, I guess it's challenging to our ego. It's challenging to our distorted perspectives. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm telling you, creating itself is the most natural, normal, fun, beautiful thing your soul knows how to do. It is so natural to your soul. Oh, create? Of course. That's what all of this is for. That's what all of this is for. Your soul lights up at the idea of creating. You came here to create. The only thing hard is bumping up against your ego's ideas, bumping up against rigidity. That's what's hard. And even then, even then when you're facing that block, you have help. You're not alone. You don't have to do this and figure this out on your own. That's why you're here. That's why I spend the hours creating this content and guides and courses and all this stuff to try and help. That's why people in this community reach out to each other. You are not alone doing this. This is our oracle card from The Universe Has Your Back. It says, hope is the conduit for miracles. And I'm really drawn to the flowers here, you know, and just remembering this idea of slow growth. And there's a moon too, reminding us of the cyclical nature of life. And, you know, the expectation that things just need to appear and be perfect or do something for you. We talked about that a couple readings ago, and you can find that either on my YouTube or on my IGTV library about, you know, why isn't what I'm receiving reflecting in how much energy I'm putting into things. And part of it is that we've labored our creations with all these expectations. That energy sits in what we create. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a drink here. So we really have to open ourselves up to the miracle. And the miracle, as far as I'm concerned, is the ease at which this process can flow. When we get out of our way, when we stop blocking the energy, and that's truly what it is. If you've at all looked at the Chakra Healing Guide or the free preview to the Creative Rebirth program that's out there, I talk about how divine creation energy is just constantly flowing. It's always flowing. It's always flowing, right? And if you can imagine it like a pipe flowing through us. And our chakras are these little drains, like the kind you see with all the holes in it at your shower. And some of those drains are clogged. They're clogged with belief systems. They're clogged with pain and hurt. They're clogged with, just traumatic experiences that we haven't quite processed yet. So emotional gunk, all this gunk, right? And divine creation energy can't flow through those clogged drains. So what do we have to do? We have to unclog those drains. We just unclog them. We let this be easy for spirit to flow through us so that we can get on with the business of living, which is to create. And stop resisting, right? We don't want to resist. It hurts our soul. I really do truly believe it hurts our soul to resist. And that's why it causes so much pain. But you don't have to resist. You can let it flow. You can let it flow. And you can let it be what it is at every phase of the process without judgment. That is a possibility. This does not have to be difficult. It really, truly doesn't. And you can get there. You just might need some tools. You just might need some tools and support. And that's why we're here. So, is there anything else? I feel like I want to get one more card from this. So we're going to do that. Here it is. This is so perfect. I find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. This is exactly what we've been talking about. That resistance that you feel, that discomfort that you feel, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention to it. It is not a judgment. It is not telling you you're not good enough. It is not telling you, oh, I must be in the wrong business. It is telling you you have a block there. Period. End of story. That's it. That's valuable information your soul just gave you. That is a gift. That discomfort is a gift. You have just been gifted awareness. Now, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? And look at these beautiful moon phases. Were we not just talking about the phases, the before you create, the while you're creating, and the after you've created? Move with the phases. That's what the Queen of Pentacles does. She embraces it all. Woo! I think maybe I'm speaking some truth, so my throat chakra is like, holy shit, she's actually speaking her truth. That or I just have a tickle in my throat. One of the two. Maybe both. Anyways, please don't run away from the resistance. Please don't try to shoo it away or ignore it or bypass it. Please don't try to distract yourself from it. It is a gift. It is a pure, beautiful gift from the divine to allow you the opportunity to once and for all vanquish this obstacle that exists in your life, that blocks you from the eternal and unconditional loving energy of creation that wants to flow through you freely. If you need help, if you need tools, if you need support, and you feel resonant with the Awakened Creators community and the resources available to you, then take advantage of them. Use them. Read them. Download them. Comment. Say, hey, I need help. Anybody dealing with this? This is what it's there for. Send me a private message. I would love to talk to you. I would love to talk to you. And not so I can sell you something, not so I can, send you a canned reply, so that I can actually talk to you. Okay? And say, hey, been there, done that. Commiserate together, but then here are some solutions I think might help. All right? Because we're all in this together, and the more of us that come together, empowered, in our presence, producing art that we love, living in our joy, sending it out there into the world, oh my God. You're on mission. You're doing exactly what you were placed here to do. You're doing exactly what your soul always wanted to do, which was to live and be itself. Its beautiful, unique expression. And change the world with your joy. With your joy. Not with your efforting, not with your money, not with any of that, but with your joy, with your love, with your heart. That's how you can change the world. Okay. And you're doing it. You're doing it. You just need a little help is what I think. Okay. So if you need to rewatch this video, please do so. Remind yourself, okay, do that little homework assignment I dropped in there in the beginning, middle, end. Where are you getting the most resistance in the process? And then, spend some time really with that discomfort, not shying away from it, but allowing yourself to receive the gift. And if you don't know how, you can always pray. I know prayer gets a really bad rap, especially with all the craziness that has gone on over the centuries with religion and whatnot, but pray. If you need to, just pray. If you want to, reach out to me and I will pray with you and just ask for help to please help me see this differently. Please help me see the gift in this discomfort. Show me, show me, show me, show me. Show me is one of my favorite prayers. Show me. Just show me. Show me the truth. And your prayer will be answered. Okay? Be careful not to project because it might be an answer that you're uncomfortable with, but you will be shown. You will be shown how you are not seeing things clearly. And then it's up to you to go ahead and release that perspective and choose to see things through the eyes of love. All right. I promise I'm done now. I swear it. If you enjoyed this video, first and foremost, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sending me likes and sharing this video with your friends. If you feel so inclined and you would like to buy me a coffee, aka send me a donation, you can do that, no pressure. And if this message has resonated with you, I highly recommend you check out the resources available in my bio. Most of them are free, And the Creative Rebirth program that I mentioned a couple of times is going to be taking a new cohort of students at the beginning of 2022, and the wait list is available now if you want to make sure that you are made aware when the ability to register for that is open. So with that, I'm going to go. I have chores to do. I love you so much. Care Bears, unite. I'll see you later. Goodbye.